For the most part, Funko Pops are for all ages, but there are definitely some exceptions. Today, we're gonna be taking a look at a bunch of Funko Pops that are R-rated. So for a mature audience, and if you're a kid, keep watching, I don't care. And I guess we'll start with this one here, which is Voodoo Ranger. The first time I actually showed this one off on the channel, I was calling it a drink the whole time and saying that I had never seen this drink before, and you guys let me know it's because it's alcoholic. And now here's the thing, I knew it was alcoholic, I was just calling it a drink, and then you guys were like, Tristan, I don't think you've ever been down that aisle before. I've seen it before. And it's funny because this actually is a perfect one to start with because literally in the top corner, you'll notice it says 21 plus, which is, I believe, R-rated. Well, I mean, when it comes to alcohol, of course it's gonna be 21 plus and R-rated because you can't be a child drinking alcohol. Also, if you look closely in his hand, he's actually holding a can, so kids, stay away from this one. Now, next up here, we have Brian Fantana from Anchorman. And the reason that I'm showing this one off is because of the cologne in his hand. I'm gonna bleep this out when I say it, but it's actually because it's called Panther. I know. It's a bit of a weird one, but that's what it's called in the movie, and it's actually scented to be like the cologne, if I were to guess, and I don't know if mine still smells. No. It definitely still does. It's so weird how it somehow stays inside of here, even though the box has, like, openings on the side. Funko, I don't know how you do it. Also, how old is this character? Wow, 2020, so it is 4 years old, and it still has a pretty potent scent. Now, I think it's time to jump into these South Park characters that I want to show you today, because I have 3 of them, and here's the thing. I probably could have done any South Park character and called it, like, R-rated, but I decided to go for 3 of them. The first one that we have here is Satan, of course, and I feel like just Satan in general is kind of like more of a mature audience kind of thing. I don't know why, but like whenever I see him, I think of like, this is an adult show, you know? So a pretty fun one. Also, this is a bit of a newer character. And when you take a look on the back here, I'm sure there's a couple others that you would probably consider like R-rated. Then after that, everybody, I also ended up grabbing my Towley. I thought this was a pretty good one to talk about today. I mean, if you've seen the episodes with Towley in it, you would definitely know what I'm talking about. Also, this is just such a unique character in general. Like, take a look at the side there. He is so thin. Well, I mean, he's a towel. It makes sense. And now, let me grab the other, which, if I'm going to be honest, is probably the most R-rated out of all of them. It's Cartman dressed up as a raccoon. And I actually remember when this one released back in 2017. I was trying to get every single South Park Pop, and I picked this one up, and I was so excited to get it. And it was like one of the first South Park ones, or maybe one of the first exclusive South Park ones that I had in the collection. Bow, bow, bow. I don't actually know if I know the Breaking Bad theme song. Like, I can think of it in my head, but when I try to say it out loud, it doesn't come out right. Anyways, I've got a Breaking Bad pop, though, that I want to show you, and it is the Crystal Blue Heisenberg. The reason that I picked this one out of all of them is because, well, it's probably the most R-rated one that I have in my collection. Of course, I have, like, Jesse in a hazmat suit, but this one here, literally being, and I think I'm gonna have to bleep this one again, is a bad word to say? I think so. Or at least on camera for YouTube. So that's why we're going to be bleeping this one out. And anyways, I think this is just such a weird character. And it's actually really cool that Funko did create it because it makes so much sense for the show. But the problem is, I just can't say on camera. So Crystal Blue is probably the best we're going to be getting. Oh, and now that I think about it, he's got a bag of in one hand, and in the other, it's a... I probably shouldn't be saying that one either. We'll bleep it just in case. And yeah, I actually didn't pick this one up that long ago. Maybe last year or the year before. Like, definitely within the last couple years. And this one released all the way back in 2015. So cool to have it in the collection, especially for videos like this. Now let's jump into some horror characters because they are definitely R-rated. And the first one that I want to show you guys here is Hannibal Lecter because this is a weird one. He's on the dolly. He's strapped in. He's got a straight jacket on. The muzzle. It's a lot going on. And if you've ever seen the movie, I would definitely not recommend it if you're younger. I would wait a little while just because of how creepy this is. And you know what, now that I think about it, the character itself isn't really that creepy. It's like if you know the movie, this is kind of like an oof kind of figure. But I do have some other ones that I think will definitely be more R-rated, just like looking at the Funko Pop in general. And the one that I want to show you the most here, or well, the first one that I'll show you out of the couple that I've got here, is the Pennywise with skateboard. Because if you take a look at him, he's got blood all all over his mouth. It says won't be there for him either on the skateboard, and he's got blood all over his hands as well as the board. And if you take a look at Hannibal Lecter again and you put Pennywise next to him, I mean, come on, this one is way creepier. Also, I really enjoy how on the back of the box they have that giant Pennywise looming up here. Ooh. And now the next super creepy one for the horror characters that I've got here is one from Nightmare on Elm Street, and it is actually the syringe finger Freddy Krueger. He doesn't even have his iconic hat on in this one. I just had to show you it because it's, again, he's got syringes as fingers. And I understand that normally he would have like a claw hand, so that's creepy in itself, but to have like 10 syringes as claws, and also now that I'm noticing, one of them he has like kind of that burnt hand with the syringes on top, and the other one he's wearing a glove, and I've got to remember why they're different. I'll be honest, I've never actually watched this specific scene, but it's just so odd. I had to show you guys. And if you guys want to take a look at him on the back there he is. Yeesh. And now the last of the horror-ish characters that I have for you today is coming in from Jaws. It's actually the shark-biting Quint. I mean, come on, look at the detail on this thing. Oh, and I actually have a little bit of a story about this one. I remember when we were younger, we were going to Cape Cod for the first time, and my mom was like, well, we've got to watch Jaws before we go, because of course, that's kind of where it's set. Or at least it's filmed somewhat in Martha's Vineyard, I believe, like right there on the Cape. And I was like, sure, why not? And then when I watched this, especially this scene here, I was totally creeped out. And so for me, when this figure released, I had to pick it up. And I've actually had it in the collection since, what year was this? 2019. So yeah, about 5 years now. And I honestly thought this was another perfect one to talk about today because it's bloody, it's literally eating Quint. You see it in the movie, and then seeing it here just kind of makes you remember it. And so definitely an odd one. And it's so funny that like Quint is like inside of it. He's also got like the machete stuck into the side of the shark. There's a lot going on here. Now, this next one that I've got here is Borat. And with a lot of the other characters that I've talked about so far today, they're kind of like a horror R-rated, where this one here is just kind of like inappropriate humor. And it is definitely a great one to talk about today because if you've ever seen Borat, you know what I'm talking about. And honestly, I think one of my favorite things from Borat is the King of the Castle one where he goes, I have a chair, King of the Castle. I don't know why. It's always up here, you know? It's stuck in my head a lot. And I'm gonna be honest, when I saw Funko was making a Borat pop, I was so surprised because it's like a one-off character they did over at New York Comic Con back in 2022, and that was it. And so I definitely had to pick this up. He's also got the bowling bag on the side there. It's just like a perfect character for him. Now we've actually got a Rocks character for today, and the one that I've grabbed is Blink-182 because, well, just take a look at them here. They're all naked. And now for the most part, all of the other characters that we've talked about today are because of the movie or show or, you know, whatever it is. But for this one here, I wouldn't say their music is so much R-rated. It's just these three here specifically. I mean, this is just such a weird thing for Funko to do, but that's why I wanted to put it in the video today. Like, where else can you get 3 naked Funko Pops running? Probably nowhere. Probably. And actually, now that I think about it, they were on a bit of a blur streak for a bit there because they did these ones. They also actually have them covered by their instruments as well, but there was also Meredith from The Office and Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. All of them with those little blur bits in the front. I know, pretty weird. Now this is actually pretty fitting that I've got this one for the video today because it is Ted from, of course, Ted. The reason that I think it's fitting is because the show did release just a couple months ago now, and it's been like one of the most popular comedies for a while. So when I remembered that I had this one and I wanted to make this video, I was like, it's just so perfect to talk about. There was actually a few different versions of this Ted that released. If you guys don't know, there was a Ted with beer bottle, which I have here, which I feel like is more R-rated than the other one, which was Ted with remote. There was also then a flocked version of Ted 2, and I'm pretty sure that one was with remote as well. There was only one, and I'm not sure. It could have been beer bottle. I don't know, but either way, this is just such a funny character, and I've watched most of the new show, and I really did enjoy it, especially the bit where Ted says he'll ask a question during the assembly. I loved that. And actually, now that I think about it, I feel like this one here fits pretty well into the kind of like Borat category where it's just like R-rated comedy. I love this thing. And now, everybody, we probably have the most R-rated of R-rated Funko Pops because when they were promoting them, they were saying 18 plus all over it. And because of that, I totally had to pick them up. And so the ones that we've got here is the, I'm gonna have to probably bleep this again, but Bear, and they've got Bear with Bag, which is exclusive to the Funko shop, as well as this one here from bear, we have bear with leg. I know, a weird one. But seriously, these are so funny because, like, I don't know, why would they even make these? And they were pretty quick about them too. Like, I think the movie came out, then maybe like a week later, they were like, these are up for pre-order if you want to check them out. And here it is. I'm kind of hoping that they make a flocked version of this one, or if they didn't, it would have been nice if they made one, just because, I don't know, he's a bear, it makes sense. But yeah, the severed leg on this one is definitely a weird thing for Funko to make. Like, it's probably one of the grossest pops I've seen. But I gotta say, it really does look nice like this. And then also, the bear with bag, I mean, there's a lot going on here. And if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this is the first time I've actually checked them out outside of the box. I wanted to wait for the video to talk about them, so that's why I'm taking them out right now. I gotta see these a little closer up. Oh, yeah, wow. It's just got like a full one in its mouth there, and then the bag at the bottom. I mean, the two of these together, that's a pretty cool combo. And well, everybody, there we go. That is all of the R-rated Funko Pops that I have for you today, and I really do hope that you guys enjoyed all of these because they are definitely weird and wacky characters. But anyways, this was seriously a lot of fun, and I'll see you tomorrow!